this comes down to the idea of how generous you imagine the UBI being. So if you imagine it as more generous, then a lot of those arguments get on the table. If you imagine it, as I do, as being less generous than the current New Start, then the argument for is a very different argument. Right? It's not about improving the quality of the life as the person living on it. So this is a very different argument I'll be laying out now, and that is, it's my belief that the best cure for poverty isn't a better welfare system, but a job. And the greatest virtue of the UBI, or the negative income tax, in my opinion, because it's not taken away, it decreases the effective marginal tax rate. It improves the incentive for people to continue to earn more. It addresses what I consider to be the biggest problem of the current welfare system, which is high effective marginal tax rates, where when people go from earning 10 to 20 to 30 to 40,000, they're paying marginal tax rates of 60, 70, 80%, which is a great disincentive against getting the job. So the solution to that, in my mind, is that I want there to be more welfare for the working poor. I'd prefer less welfare for the non-working poor. It makes me sound mean. It's not because I don't like them, it's because I want to help them get a job. And more welfare for the working poor. That does a couple of things. Firstly, by more welfare for the working poor, that's what lowers the effective marginal tax rate, increasing the incentive to get a job. And secondly, and bear with me before you shake your heads, if we're giving more welfare to the working poor, that, in my mind, can justify a reduction in the minimum wage. If we reduce the minimum wage by 10%, someone on $40,000, the minimum wage at the moment, would go down to $36,000. But then if we give them welfare, working poor welfare of $5,000 or $6,000, they're better off. They're better off, but the minimum wage has gone down. And this is where we'd have to get into the esoteric details of the elasticity, the minimum wage elasticity of labour demand. But we've got fairly good evidence that that's about negative 0.2 to negative 0.3 in Australia, which means a 10% cut in the minimum wage would be about 300,000 to 400,000 new jobs. So my argument for the UBI is that it creates 400,000 new jobs and creates the incentive for people to take it.
Thank you very much. Now we'll get on to the question of, is it a bad idea?